Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode. So this is part 2 of Yocto, the build itself. What this video is the target of this video, the motivation of this video is to ensure that you get a successful build. What we're going to talk about, what we're going to target, is the custom compilation of the kernel, the build itself, how to overcome build errors should you have them, how to format the SD card, how to deploy, and any other steps that need to be taken in order to get a successful boot. So, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Erfan, and this is my no-nonsense channel. No video intro, just bare knuckle. Here we go. Let's get into it. So, okay. Clean this up a little bit here. Let's get out of this. Oh, I should have left that up. Whatever. Anyways, agenda. So I just covered it. So let's talk about kernel compilation. So that's the first thing you want to do before you try to do a build, in my humble opinion. Okay. How do we compile the kernel? So we source, as always. The only thing that's different is we hit up this command here. Okay. Oh, that was actually pretty quick. My goodness. Wow. So, you Yocto guys, I want to give another shout out to my Yocto guys over here. You guys make it so easy, okay? So, the thing about Yocto is they make it super easy to compile the kernel. For me, the only difference between vanilla and mine is I added virtualization. Over here, I ticked off this, made this a module, ticked this off, hit save. Depending upon your mileage or your use case, you may want to include or not include certain things. That's up to you. When you're done, hit save. It'll generate a .config. For me, there's no change. It's the same. So I'll hit exit out of here. So yeah, much love for that, because I don't know if you guys have compiled the kernel before, but compiling a kernel can be difficult sometimes. But again, you Yocto guys, much love. You make it easy. So that's how we generated the options thing. To actually build the kernel, we hit up this command here. That'll actually build the kernel. I'm not going to actually hit enter because I've already built this kernel. I didn't want to waste time, showing you it in real time. So I hope you can forgive me. I hope you can forgive me for that. In any case, let's say you build the kernel, and the next thing is the actual build, yeah? So, I want to prove to you that it actually works on my Gen 2 environment. And I wanted to let you guys know that environment does matter. I noted. For example, my first time Ubuntu success build for beaglebone, I encountered slightly different errors than Gen 2, and I noticed that my Gen 2 errors were a little bit more elegant, and my overcoming them was also somewhat graceful in my opinion, but still it was hard. I'm not gonna downplay it. It was hard to get the build up and running. We're talking about 6-7 hour builds, and then you're talking about errors in between and trying to figure those out. So you're talking about more time, yeah. Anyways, hence the difference between the delta between posting from part 1 to part now. So the most painless build, in my humble opinion, is to use Debian or Ubuntu and make sure your Python, for these branches that I'm talking about that we checked out, your Python is not 3.12. You want to be at 3.11, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But as you can see, we just built here. We just built. So attempted, didn't need to be rerun, all succeeded. You saw the command that I typed up. Let's go back up to the anyways, I think that speaks for itself. Boomtown. So we got the image, okay? You'll note that my configuration is slightly different than the last time because I added Docker and I added a PDF viewer. Okay. So my local conf is different. Again, I'll check this into GitHub. Excuse me. I'll check this into GitHub so that way you have it just as a reference if you like. Hopefully that helps. Also notice in Gen 2, or maybe in all of them actually, Dunfell is indicated when it is the latest of that branch. Otherwise, it's detached head. Yeah, that's why it says head. I mean, they're all Dunfell, but anyways, just a minor thing. Another thing I wanted to point out is that it says tainted here. When you never apparently, and maybe you yocto guys can fill in the blanks if you have time. If you'd love to, if you have time to comment, I would love to hear it. Why does it say tainted after I compile a custom build, custom kernel? I'm not sure. Tainted, it seems to be a strong word here, in my opinion, but whatever. I didn't find the image to have any problems, so I don't know. Whatever, I'll let go of that point. So, build errors is the next point. How to overcome them, what I encountered. I think I encountered a total of 5 or 6 build errors along this 7-hour build. Another thing I wanted to point out was my hard disk is at 916 and I'm at 700. So we're talking about maybe, yeah, almost 200 gigs. Let's say a little less than that. So what are you in for? You are in for about, let's say 180 gigs of hard drive space to build the beaglebone black properly, and at least, at a minimum, 12 hours if you have errors, 7 if you don't, because we have, again, this many. So you can understand, and again, you know, you're building an operating system, it takes time. So just keep that in mind. So now that we have our, yeah, I'll go through it, actually, I will. Errors. So these were the errors that I encountered, and these were the things that I had to do to overcome them. Let's go to the top here. Build error number 1. So MariaDB native was throwing errors. It needed a couple include files, so I tossed them in. This was the file that I tossed them in. This is the path. I try to make it easy for you guys. Same thing with, what was it? Build number 2 error, UW IMAP in PHP. Look, IMAP is a email protocol that I don't really need baked into PHP on the beaglebone, and if it's causing me errors and it's causing me a heartache, I would rather just remove it, so that's what I did. So again, this is Linux. In order to make it work, sometimes you have to edit the source. This is what I did, and this was the things that I encountered. Lastly, so just a couple more header files, and you can see for yourself. So I removed GLM Mark II because, as I noted earlier, my Python version, one more time, 3.12, okay? For you to get GLM Mark II, you need to be at Python 3.11. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to get it to work with 3.12, but for a benchmark application for graphics, I didn't really care that much, and I didn't want to go through the heartache of downgrading or getting it to work with the latest, so I just removed it outright. Okay? So that's it on overcoming build errors. I mean, another thing that I want to point out is the build errors, okay? You know, don't get disheartened if you get build errors. It's a normal thing. It's going to happen, most likely for you. I mean, it's unlikely that you'll hit build, walk away, come back 18 hours later or 7 hours later, and it's done. You know, like, you got to put a little bit of, let's say, love into it and find out, try to understand what these errors are and try to figure out what's the best way to overcome them. If you need help, feel free to comment on my page, and if I have time, I'll definitely help you out to get up and running. But anyways, yeah, that's overcoming build errors. So what's next? Deployable. Okay, so now that we have an actual build, now that we actually have an image, well, first off, where is the image and how to deploy it, yeah? Maybe that's the question that needs to be answered next. Good question. So it's going to be in your sources, temp, deploy, images, beaglebone, okay? Inside here, you can see you have a bunch of files that are outputted. DTB, TGZ, root file system, MD5, what do we care about? U-boot, No. I'm going to show you the easy way. Go for the wick. That way you don't have to do every little thing yourself in terms of the partitions and putting the right files there. I mean, you can do that if you want to go gung-ho and you want to torture yourself. By all means, that's your choice. You know, I won't stop you. But I go with the wick. Okay? And what I like to do is I like to copy this wick over to my build yocto. So it's not in pokey, okay? You don't want to put it in pokey. You never want to put like a... Anyways. It's right here, outside of pokey. You can see my files. Okay, I built 3 times, 3 different images for 3 different reasons. Okay? And I labeled them into meaningful names for me. So, I think the next step is talking about how to format the SD card. So I got an SD card plugged in already. And what I like to do is use the GUI application for all my hard disk stuff. I know maybe I should be more of a purist, but whatever. I don't do it on the command line. This is just how I do it. So for me, it's already partitioned. It's already written, as you can see. But I'll just show you briefly. When you have a new one, you just pop in a new SD, delete everything, and then before you partition it or change the formatting, you want to do create partition in gparted, and you want to... Unfortunately, I can't show you because I guess something's enabled or some error swap is on or something. Whatever. Anyways, device, create partition, MS-DOS. You want the whole partition table to be MS-DOS. After that, you partition, new, ext4, and then write. Okay? So now your SD card is ready to be... You're ready to put the image on the SD card. How do we put the image on the SD card? Okay. So we're going to do a dd if equal the image you want. So the output file, for me it was SDA as you noted. And then you hit it up with a sudo. The dd will write the image to the formatted SD card, properly formatted, and now that will create again... Where is it? This one. So I'll show you. That will literally create the boot partition for you, which is this FAT32, and the root file system. So, oh, it was mounted on... that's why, because it was mounted. That's probably why I can show you that. So yeah, it's mounted already. That's probably why I couldn't create that partition table. Anyways, so as you can see, I've already put the dd command in, and now there's a few more things, okay? My goodness, so we go through, we custom compile the kernel, we build it, we overcome our build errors, we get an image, we write the image, and we still can't run it? You're right, we can't, not yet. Reason why is because we need to override one file. In etc on the SD card, we need to change, oh not CD, let's get an editor. This file needs to be changed in order for it to output to any display, in my opinion, or HDMI, okay? So this sets the resolution, this sets up the desktop background wallpaper, as you can imagine, wallpaper. So I literally create a directory called background, and then I throw my image in that. I tell it where to put it, and then magic sauce right here. That's the one. So that'll get it to do it. And now you're ready to boot. Thank you for sticking around this long. I think that covers it for the build errors, custom compiling kernel, etc., etc., etc. Let me know if you have any questions, and I would love it if you liked or subscribed. It would really help me out, so that way I can put this, continue to grow and show you more cool stuff in a concise, hopefully elegant way. Again, my name is Arafon. Thank you for visiting Humble Engineering. Hope this helped.